Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm really happy to see you in this number, and I'm also really happy to be able to share with you some of the insights of the Resilience project. I will talk more about a need to start thinking about the policies in a more comprehensive way, and also to start thinking about policy in a way to make them work for all families. To dig into this, I would say, a really complex topic. I will start by sharing one story from the focus group in Croatia. It's a story of a lone mother who made me really think about the support we have in a country for low-resourced families. So it's a single mom who lives in one of the, I would say, biggest cities in Croatia, and her health is really seriously impaired. And she's basically relying on several benefits, and she's really trying hard to keep her family afloat. And as you can see here, although she's relying on several benefits in her life, basically after she pays rent and utilities, she's left with €1. And then she struggles. She's relying on multiple jobs, and sometimes her minor son is going with her because she has really serious health issues, and he helps her work so they can go through the month. Basically, this story is one of the most which affected me most, but it's actually not unique. So basically, this story really makes me think about these families, and basically it showed that families really try hard, and it shows really, I would say, the enormous resilience of these families, but at the same time, it shows that policies are really not working for many families, especially low-income families, and especially not for the families who are faced with compounded risks. And also, when it comes to these families, as we saw also in previous talks, they're really faced with daily trade-offs, and basically trade-offs which are actually not their choice, and they struggle a lot. When they describe the policy environment, they speak about inadequate policies. They speak about policies which are confusing for them. They speak about rigid policies, and basically they speak about the policies which are not fully accommodated to their situation, and also to the whole complexity and the changes they're going through as a family. And now this brings us again to the main question: how to move from here, and how to basically build the policies which are going to work for all the families. And when we started to dig into the policies in the countries we have in our policy packages, we could see that countries are doing a lot. Countries are having many policies, but the thing is that these policies are not speaking to each other, and we saw that holistic thinking is missing. And there are many gaps in the provision, and this is causing insecurity for families. If we want to fix these gaps, we really need to start thinking in a more comprehensive way, and we have to start thinking in coherent way, and start thinking more in terms of policy packages and how these work together for all the families. I know this is much easier to say than do in real life, but we have to start somewhere. And now I'm going to highlight 3 aspects of policy design which came the most critical in our research. The first thing is that we really need to make policies which are addressing all families. So what does it mean? On the one side, it really means that we need to make policies more inclusive. If we look into the policy designs, what's happening with policy designs, we can see that policies are becoming more attentive to family diversity. But we can also see that many families are excluded from the provision. And especially the families which do not fit this average image of of the family, like dual earner norm or the families who cannot find secure employment. These families are very often excluded. We heard about the example of parenting leaves. Parenting leaves are conditioned on stable, secure employment, meaning that people in atypical employment or people in less stable employment are actually not entitled to paid parental leave. And when we add other inequalities, such as those based on migration status, we are facing more and more exclusions in policy design. On the other side, we also need to provide all the families with the support they need. If we look into countries, we can also see that there is some recognition that different families need different support, that some families need more support, but this is not fully translated into the policy designs. And basically we can see that some family situations, some care relationships, such as those asking for intensive care due to disability or illness or lone parenthood, these are really not fully recognized, and these are not supported in countries we have studied, but also in others. And then the other point, we have to think about flexible policies. We have to think about policies to be coherent. When we digged into the design, what we could learn is that policies tend to be built on the assumption of stability. And family life is all but stable. And families are constantly navigating a range of transitions, starting from childbirth and illness, separation, job loss, etc. And these situations are sometimes recognized in the policy design and sometimes not, so to different extents. And also even those situations which are well recognized as childcare, for example, we have gaps. For example, we have quite big periods in most countries where either paid parental leave or affordable early childhood education and care is not accessible. And basically families are basically expected to bridge their gaps on their own without any institutional support. And there are other examples, such as the connection between benefits, as it was earlier mentioned, labor market and care. So basically we need to think more about how to integrate different provisions and how to build also flexible policies which will support transition, but at the same time secure continuity and prevent unnecessary trade-offs. And the final point, we need coordination. The more policies we have, the more complexity we create. And basically what we learned from families is that they experience policies as fragmented and very difficult to navigate. They are faced with many administrative burdens, unclear information, weak coordination between different levels of support and different systems. Very often they feel they're just walking around, telling their story again and again, and basically trying to figure out whether they are eligible or not, and basically doing nothing. So basically the main question which comes here is how can we reduce the burden on families while navigating support, and where to locate it, the coordination the families need. One of the promising solution which came out are comprehensive family support services. And if we build these services as well-resourced and as locally embedded, as universally available, and bringing together general and highly specialized support, we are in a good way to bring together familial resilience with proper support for all families and the support they actually need. Thank you very much.